Yes, and it looks like the last batch of important dates, long overdue dates, have been announced by Election Commission Chairman Tan Sri Aziz. April 20th being nomination day, April 30th early voting, and D-Day or election day is on May the 5th. Other important details announced: 400 million ringgit spent for GE13, and the last electoral roll is standing at some 13.2 million Malaysian voters. Let's talk to Datuk Seri Wong Chun GCE of the Star to find out more. Hello, Datuk Seri.
Hello.
Yeah. Important dates have been announced. Datuk Seri, what would be the most significant point or thought that comes to your mind?
The most obvious factor was that, much to my surprise, was that if you look at the number of days that's been fixed for campaigning, and if you take into account that a campaign starts immediately after nomination on April 20th, if you use that as a counting point, it's actually 15 days of campaigning. 15
days of campaigning.
That's really long, because the minimum date is 11 days. But I thought that it could be 12 days, 13 days, but 15 days is really long when we have taken into account that the parties have been campaigning for the last 5 years. Okay, now, if you look at the previous elections, in 2008, it was 13 days. And in 2004, it was 8 days. So this time, 15 days of campaigning.
Why do you think?
I'm still trying to figure out why do we need such a long period. You and I have been talking about campaign fatigue, right? To have 15 days is really a long time. Previously, in 1959 until 1969, they used to have 35 days of campaigning.
Those are long days of
but
campaigning.
We're talking about those days when, besides RTM, there were no other avenues. There were no internet. There were no street shop TV. Okay?
Yes.
There were no tweets. There were no SMS. There were no internet. So we understand if we need 35 days, because Malaysia was then Malaysia was then it was difficult. It was difficult to travel up and down.
Of course.
But
logistical.
But for me, 15 days is really a long time. But still, it's going to be a long ride from now, going through this daily campaigning, daily mudslinging.
It's going to be very exciting.
Yes. Yeah. And another interesting factor is that if you look at the amount that's been allocated, it's 400 million.
400 million. I just mentioned that just now.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Because in 2008, it was just 171 million. That's more than double. So there's a lot of money been spent for these elections.
Where is all this money?
I suppose logistics, take into account the number of people involved, and
8,000 over polling stations as well needs to be managed.
Absolutely. And given the fact that it's going to be a very close election, I think the election commissions will want to make sure everything's in place. If money has got to be spent, it has to be spent. But I think they want to get it right. And if that's the reason, I think that they're doing the right thing.
I wanted to ask you this from the start. Were these dates the ones that you actually speculated?
No, because I was looking at April. I was looking at April because I was looking from a point of view that it would not be too long a campaign period, because the officials from the Election Commission actually went on record to say that if given a chance, they would prefer that it wouldn't be too long. No? They must have taken into account various factors. Perhaps they wanted to look at Sundays, weekends. They took them into account. That could be the reason. But in past elections, voting have actually taken place on a working day. So it's not unusual, but a weekend is always a preferred date for most people. But still, as I say, that 15 days is too long. There might be other people who don't agree with me, but for those of us who have been in the media, it's too long. Okay. But I think now that the date has been fixed, I think it makes planning a bit easier for everybody.
Right. Perhaps what would be the reason, I mean, significant reasons that perhaps the 15-day is actually required, like maybe in terms of the list, or, in terms of mechanisms, in terms of what would be actually the factors that would be taken into account? 11
days is the minimum. And I think that given that, although we have said that they have been campaigning for the last 5 years, if they were to minimize it to 11 days. There'll be some who say that, look, why are you limiting it to just to the minimum? And I think to look in all fairness, and I think that 15 days could perhaps be a meeting point, long for us, but may not be long for the campaigners and politicians, right? If given a chance, they will want it to be much longer than 15 days, right?
That's right. So what next? Of course, an exciting thing to look forward to would be the list.
Yes, the list. I think that the names of the candidates from both sides will be very crucial, because there'll be this large number of voters as well, who will only decide on who to vote after they look at the names of the candidates. There may be many who have decided who to vote based on parties, but there will always be this middle ground, the large chunk of voters who says, let's see your list. Right. So the next step for you and me is to look at who is in, who is out. Right.
Any surprises, Datuk Seri? Do you expect any major surprises in terms of the list?
I expect the Barisan Nasional to put in a lot of new faces, maybe 30%, first-timers, and quite a number of the ministers who may have to make way for young people to come out. That should be the next what do you call it, the excitement that's to come, and it's coming soon over the next few days.
Yes, right. We will definitely have the Sri Wong Chun back on our set, GE13, the Showdown. Those dates have been announced. We look forward to the campaign period and the number of issues that we will be entertained by. I'm Anne Edwards. Thank you so much for your time.